G'day guys, Wes from Unsealed here. This little contraption I've knocked up is something to give you guys a first-hand example of what happens if you don't fuse your wiring in your car, whether it be spotlights, travel buddy, oven, UHF, whatever. Anything that you're going to put in your car that runs off 12 volts, you're going to wire in yourself, you must put a fuse in there. If you don't, this is a really great example of what happens. To give you guys a quick rundown of how I've done it, so we've got power comes in via Anderson, that's 50 amp wire. Comes down to a bus bar, positive and negative. Positive runs into a relay. Relay then runs via the switch back to positive. So how that works is what I do, hold the switch down, power runs from here through the switch. When I hold the button down, gives it power across to this side of the relay and pulls the contacts closed, which then gives it power to our main wires. So if you have a look here, there's no fuse in there at the moment. If I hit the trigger, the LED comes on. If you happen to know how that works, I'd love to know. Anyway, that's besides the point. What this button does essentially gives power to the circuit, which shows exactly what a fault or a short on the line would look like. So if you do happen to rub through on your firewall, you crush a wire with your fridge slide, something like that, anything that goes back to earth, if your positive hits a negative in your car or hits earth, which is your chassis or your body, that button is exactly the same thing as doing that, all right? Let me get a fuse and we'll show you what happens. All right, so what I've just done is I've just knocked in a little 3 amp fuse. I've got 25 amp wire here, 25 amp wire here, so this is the weakest link. So if you watch this spot really, really carefully, and move your fingers, and push the button, watch what happens to the fuse. Don't know whether you guys saw it, but fuse is blown and the little red LED has come on the fuse holder to say the fuse is blown. So that's fine, you put a fuse in, fuse blows. Wire does not burn. I can turn that on and off as much as I want, all right? That works perfectly. Now for the fun bit. All right guys, what we've got here is a bit of wire. It's not, obviously it is just a piece of wire between the two terminals, obviously positive this side, negative this side. What we're going to do is feed that 12 volts and all the amps it wants to use and see what happens. This is actually decent quality wire. The first one we did, it just blew the end off. This one we'll see what happens. And there you go guys, this is why you fuse your wire.
That is not good. You can imagine that under your carpet, along the back of your drawers, under your seats, anything like that in your engine bay. Funnily enough, that wire, the insulation is pretty good. It didn't actually catch on fire. The last one, as you can see here, well and truly did, that we tested. So guys, if you're gonna run anything in your car, put a fuse on it. If you're going to cut a cigarette plug off and replace it with an Anderson plug like most of us do with our travel buddies, put a fuse on it. If you don't, this is what can happen.